and welcome to Find Your Nottingham Live, a virtual open day brought to you by the University of Nottingham. I'm Annabelle Rackham and I'm delighted to be back here where both Deepak and I studied, to tell you all about this brilliant university and everything it has to offer.
Hi everyone, I'm Deepak Kataria and it's great to be here hosting this event for all of you who are interested in postgraduate study. Annabelle and I have been both lucky enough to experience what Nottingham has to offer and how that can change your life and take you to the places you want to go.
Thank you for joining us from wherever you are in the world today, and we hope that this event will help provide you with all the information that you need to choose Nottingham as the place to study.
We will be hearing from key people across the university to tell you more about the things we know are important to you when making your decision. You'll hear from our support services, you'll hear from our students, and you'll also hear from the academics specializing in the areas you're most interested in.
Throughout the show today, you can submit any questions you have via the QR code that is now showing on the screen. We have a team working away behind the scenes who will be answering these for you during the event. If you're watching this on the university website, you can find out more about any of the topics we cover using the links in the schedule below.
Before we welcome our first guests, our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jane Norman, would like to welcome you to the event.
Hello, I'm Professor Jane Norman, and it gives me enormous pleasure to welcome you to Find Your Nottingham Live here at the University of Nottingham. Wherever in the world you're tuning in from, we're delighted to have you with us here today. Thank you for taking the time to find out what makes Nottingham such a unique place for postgraduate study. We've designed this event with you in mind, so we hope you find it both informative and inspiring. Our institution is dedicated to academic excellence, world-leading research, and providing a transformative educational experience that will prepare you for the future. Our postgraduate courses are designed to unlock your full potential, propelling you towards your career goals. The skills and specialist knowledge you'll learn here will provide you with the perfect launchpad for whatever comes next. We're a member of the prestigious Russell Group of Universities and proud to be named a top 20 UK university in the latest QS World University Rankings. We also have a rich history of groundbreaking research. Nottingham is the birthplace of MRI, and the latest REF rankings placed us 7th in the UK for research power. If you ask me what's special about Nottingham, I'd have to say it's a vibrant, inclusive community we've created here, one that blends innovation with tradition. We're also a global university. We have campuses in China and Malaysia, while Nottingham itself is home to students from more than 150 countries. Our graduates are also highly sought after by leading companies worldwide. The 2024 High Flyers Graduate Market Report named us as the third most targeted UK university by the country's top employers. In fact, your success when you leave here is just as important to us as your time on campus. It's why our courses will equip you with the real-world skills, experiences and connections you need to get ahead. We also offer expert careers advice for life, meaning we'll be here whenever you need us. Here at Nottingham, you'll find beautiful, vibrant and diverse campuses, complete with cutting-edge facilities, all within easy reach of the historic city of Nottingham, a green city with a legendary past and a bright future. Choosing a university for your postgraduate study is a big decision, and we want you to know that you're not alone on this journey. Our dedicated staff are here to support you every step of the way. Today, you'll hear from our wonderful faculty members and current postgraduate students who will share their experiences and insights into life at the University of Nottingham. Although we may not be together in person, I encourage you to engage with us and ask any questions you may have. We want to ensure that you have a comprehensive understanding of what it means to be part of our community. As we begin today's event, I invite you to open your minds to the possibilities that await you here at Nottingham. We're excited to share our story and show you why we believe this is the right place for you to pursue your dreams. Thank you once again for joining us, and let's embark on this journey together. Enjoy the event.
Today's event focuses on arts and humanities professional development. All the subjects included have been chosen because they complement each other as areas of interest or allow you to discover another subject you may not have considered before.
There are so many options available to you, so it's always worth spending a bit of time to see what else might inspire you. Have a look at the schedule to see what's coming up. Remember to ask any questions you have using the QR code. We'll be right back with our first guests after this.
The School of English offers a wide range of postgraduate degrees. Today we are discussing those with a particular focus on professional development. While each course has its unique focus, they all prioritise professional development, making them exceptional choices for advancing your career. I am joined by Dr. Pavel Shudarsky, Associate Professor in Applied Linguistics. So welcome to you. My first question is, you have a wide range of professional development degrees. Who are they for and how do students choose between them?
These courses are particularly suitable for people seeking to deepen and professionalize their knowledge of language and its use across different contexts. So these might be people already having a career or seeking a career in education, journalism, media, marketing, essentially anybody who needs communication and language skills in their daily professional life. In terms of these courses themselves, one of the commonalities is that they all focus on interdisciplinarity. So for example, how we can draw on different disciplines to understand how language is used across different contexts. Of course, they also differ in the sense of specialism. So a good example here is the MSc in Communication and Entrepreneurship. So that course is offered jointly by the School of English and the Business School, and tutors come from both schools, offering their expertise in understanding language and then using that understanding to improve professional communication. And again, this could be interesting for people wanting to work in marketing, communication, business consultancy. Another course I want to talk about is the MA in Applied Linguistics, which draws on diverse research areas such as sociolinguistics, psycholinguistics, discourse analysis. So again, that's looking at the use of language in contexts such as, for instance, legal context, or the language of advertising, health communication. Also education, this is where my expertise or interest is lying, just because we try to understand the use of language and then use that understanding to improve language education, to look at the use of English as a second language, or as a foreign language. And lastly, the MA in literature, which is looking at a whole range of genres and types of texts in their social, historical context, trying to develop students' analytical skills, also critical thinking, so all those transferable skills they might need in the future when they start looking for a job.
And as these are, broadly professional development courses, are there any practical skills that students can develop whilst on them?
In terms of practical knowledge and practical skills, we offer a range of opportunities throughout the year. So one good example is the dedicated placements team for the Faculty of Arts, where students can seek advice from colleagues and start looking for opportunities that could be volunteering or placements. Another one is our Careers and Employment Service. This is for the university as a whole, where students can make an appointment and look at what's available, but also think about their CV, how can they improve it, perhaps also practice their interview, develop those kinds of skills. Another example is what we do in terms of our collaboration with local organizations here in Nottingham and more broadly. For instance, my colleague, Dr. Kevin Harvey, who is a sociolinguist in the school, he's interested in health communication, particularly dementia, how we talk about it. And what he is doing is he's working with students and offering support to patients with dementia. They go, for example, to local hospitals or care homes, and through reading, they try to look at people's well-being, how the use of language in that case is helping people deal with their disease or their condition. Another example I'd like to talk about is the Nottingham Advantage Award. That is an extracurricular program for the university as a whole. Students can choose from a range of modules. And one that is particularly interesting here, I think, particularly for students doing applied linguistics and language teaching, is a module called English Language Skills for Migrants and Refugees. What this module does is it invites students to practice or develop their teaching skills. They go to local organizations, again, try to develop their own skills, but at the same time have a genuine impact on people's lives. For example, someone who's just come to the UK and they need language skills for real life purposes. So I think there's a whole range of options here, how people can develop professional skills during the course of their MA.
And why should someone choose to study this course at the University of Nottingham?
I think there's a number of reasons for that. One, I'd say, is our focus on research and the academic basis. As tutors, supervisors, conveners of these courses, we are all active researchers. So our teaching and the learning of our students, consequently, is informed by the research we do and publish. Secondly, I'd also say our focus is very much on, obviously, the academic side of things, but also the additional support that is available to students, locally within the school, but also more broadly within the university. So just to give you some examples, we have quite a lot of international students who function in English as a second language. So if anybody is still a bit unsure about their skills, we then signpost them to the CELI. So this is the Center for English Language Education, where they can, again, make appointments, attend classes, improve their skills, be it in spoken or written language. Similarly, another team that we collaborate with and offer support through is the Learning Development team, where colleagues help students develop their academic skills, their transferable skills, digital skills, how to look for information, how to organize information in your essay. So all of these elements that lead to success being an MA student, and then also taking these skills further when you start thinking about your career.
And looking at this degree course, what can it lead you to once you graduate? What are some of the recent sort of job roles that some of your graduates have gone into?
So it's really interesting. I think people obviously now start looking at different options. In area that I'm working, a lot of our students are going into education. So for example, teachers of English in China, a lot of them are thinking of primary schools, high schools. I'm hearing that a master's degree is really a requirement, or even a must, if not a PhD, if you're seeking employment in that area. But also other areas that I've mentioned earlier, journalism, business consultancy, particularly for people who are interested in the communication side of things, and the course I mentioned earlier. Other options would include publishing, or continuing and doing a PhD if someone is inclined more towards the academic side of things.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, and we will be right back after this.
I love Nottingham, the home of Robin Hood. From the bright lights of Goose Fair to the peaceful nature of the Sherwood Forest woods. There's a feeling of togetherness, unity, pure, honest, love. And that feels great, like a bright summer's day at the horses down by the lake at Colic. All I love Nottingham. The River Trent, the embankment, the Nottingham Carnival, different cultures dancing. The diversity, just walking down Columbus Street on a Saturday. The two lions in the square stand tall with pride. And when the markets in town come alive, it gives me life. Listen, as the council house clock chimes, and depending on how many times, lets you know the time. I've been to concerts at the Motorpoint Arena, and I've been to concerts at the Nottingham Caves. I've been here all my life and I'm still amazed by this place. I love Nottingham. Sometimes I stare at Hockley's graffiti colourful walls, and sometimes I gaze at the deers running round Woollerton Hall. Supreme thrills, from chilling up at Green's Mill or up at that castle on the hill. Nottingham, I love you, and I always will. Visit Nottingham today.
now by Dr. Alex Melville, Associate Professor in Translation Studies, to tell us about the Masters in Screen Translation. Thank you so much for joining me. My first question is, what is the difference between translation and screen translation?
Well, translation is really about language transfer. It's about translating from one language into another. There's also a kind of cultural side to it, how appropriate a translation is for a particular culture, for a particular country. And whilst we do cover translation on the MA in Screen Translation, well, the main focus is of course on screens as well. So we focus on all the language transfer aspect, but also on anything to do with screens. So we talk about subtitling, for instance. We talk about audio description. So media accessibility is very important for this course. In subtitling, we focus on deaf audiences, and audio description is for members of the public who are on the blindness spectrum.
So who is this course for, do you think? Who would enjoy taking this course after an undergraduate study?
I think there is a fairly broad range of people who would be interested in this course. I think language graduates, of course, and you need to have you need to be competent in a foreign language to be taking this course. But I think anyone with an interest in media accessibility as well, anyone with an interest in subtitling, audio description, like I said, and at the end of the course, there's also, of course, the opportunity to do a kind of large project instead of a traditional dissertation, which can focus on any aspect of screen translation. So anyone with an interest in that is welcome.
And what is it that's unique about this course specifically?
There's a fair few things that are unique about this course. I think it was designed to have this focus on media accessibility, and it has specific modules on subtitling for deaf audiences and on audio description. We collaborate routinely with various partners, including Zoo Digital and Sky, who have some direct input into some of our modules. We use professional tools, so we have a suite of professional software that we use in these modules. And these modules are also designed to follow professional workflows.
And what is it about the University of Nottingham studying this course here?
The course at the University of Nottingham is a very well-rounded course, which provides a lot about translation, so language transfer, but also about all these other things, about media accessibility, subtitling, audio description. And the great thing about this is that it really opens up professional opportunities.
And what are some of those professional opportunities? What can graduates who do this course expect to then go on to do?
Well, there's many things that you can do at the end of the course. You can, of course, work as a translator in a company or as a freelancer. You can also go into the media accessibility industry and work as a subtitler, and we've got many students who work as subtitlers or as editors in relatively large companies. Some go into teaching, so you don't have to go into translation after this course. There's still plenty of doors that are kept open for you. And we also have some students who go on to do PhDs after the course. And actually we have a newly funded doctoral school in translation studies at the University of Nottingham, where we also welcome PhD applications.
And is there anything that you learn as a student or can help you prepare for a future career whilst you're doing this master's course?
The way that the course is designed is that everything that you learn essentially on this course is geared toward preparing you for a professional environment. So we don't rule out the possibility of students going on to do PhDs afterwards, but because of the way that the modules are designed and because of the input that our partners have into the design of the modules and sometimes into the content of the modules, you pick up a lot of skills that basically prepare you for working in the industry and build up your CV.
So why should you study this course in particular at the University of Nottingham?
We're very fortunate at the University of Nottingham to have excellent facilities. We have specific rooms that are dedicated to translation and interpreting. We have an interpreting suite, and also a translation suite, which is essentially a computer lab where all the translation software is installed, including all the professional software that we use in the audiovisual translation modules. And the other thing that we have at Nottingham is wonderful colleagues who are all translation studies specialists and who all have professional experience of doing translation. I myself still work as a subtitler occasionally, and all our colleagues are also excellent researchers. So they really know what they're talking about, and they deliver teaching that is really top of the range.
Thank you very much, and thanks for joining us today. And we will be right back after this.
As the global economy continues to expand, the demand for skilled translators and interpreters have never been higher. The translation and interpreting industry is evolving rapidly, driven by technological advancement and the need for culturally nuanced communication. We are now going to talk to Dr. WeAreUoN Lee about the MA in Chinese English Translation and Interpreting. Welcome, WeAreUoN. So, if we can get started, can you tell us about this course and who is suitable for these courses?
Right. This course is particularly for those with high level of language skills in both English and Chinese, and particularly those who want to go into the global language service industry in the future. So the way we design our curriculum is really professionally oriented. So say, for instance, we train our students not just the professional translation and interpreting skills, we also have the opportunity for our students to choose specialized directions, such as into audiovisual translation, such as into website localization, community interpreting, so on and so forth. The whole point of our curriculum is that we would like to train language professionals for the future.
So someone who's interested in understanding more about localization, can you draw some light on that?
Sure. Localization is the process in which we market a product or service around the world. So say, for instance, you have a website selling your product in English. And if you want to sell this to other countries, you definitely need to think about localizing your website. So localization is not just translating the language. It involves replacing a lot of the elements on your website in order for local audience to use it seamlessly. So say, for instance, you will want to think about how you use the images, how you use audio-visual content, how you replace T&Cs into something that local convention allows. Those are all the things that we train our students to be able to transfer into a product that is going to be able to localize, to market into different places. And I'm really sure that with the training we have, our students will have the necessary skills in order to deliver a very specialized service like that.
Great. And what makes Nottingham different? Why would a student study at University of Nottingham?
In Nottingham, we are really well placed in terms of access to language service industry. So say, for instance, our program has long had a really good relationship with local companies. We would regularly invite language service providers to come and speak to our students, perhaps provide different type of training if possible. And if there are opportunities to work with them, we will also introduce our students to those kind of opportunities. And in addition to that, we're very fortunate to be blessed with dedicated training facilities. So for instance, we have a translation suite and an interpreting suite. Both of them are equipped with industry standard translation interpreting tools. We are also very fortunate to have the same type of interpreting facility that is exactly the same as those used in the European Union. And on top of that, we have dedicated translation and web localization software to train our students for the future.
I think you touched upon collaboration with organizations and that industry exposure as well. So what careers do students go on to?
Most of our students are able to go into the language service industry after they finish the course. So for instance, at the moment, we have graduates who work in provincial governments as in-house interpreters in China. We also have students working in translation company, in localization company in Shanghai, either as localizer, localization specialist, translator, or project manager. We also have one student who's currently working in Kuala Lumpur in the localization industry as well.
So if someone is unaware about life at Nottingham or being at Nottingham and studying these courses, is there any piece of advice that you have for them?
I always tell students that as long as you have a healthy curiosity about the world, you will be able to do very well here in Nottingham. Not only because we have a good connection with the local industry, so there will be opportunity somewhere lying ahead in front of you, we're also blessed with a very vibrant student community. So I'm pretty sure that their student experience in Nottingham is going to be a really positive one.
Great. And is there anything else you would like to add which is not covered that you have already said?
Yes, actually. So over the last several years, what we have observed, and we're very happy about that, is that some of our students would work full-time in the professional field for a couple of years, and some of them are very happy to come back to us to pursue further PhD studies. So actually at the moment, I have 2 students coming back to us and currently doing PhD studies with me. So I feel that in general, in addition to having a professional focus, preparing our students for a job that's very specialized in the future, we are also able to align our staff research expertise so that if students are willing to pursue further studies, we are able to supervise them along the way as well.
Thank you so much for those amazing insights. And we'll be right back after this.
I know it like the back of my hand, and turns out that everybody knows each other, and suddenly I'm making friends here and there, and everybody's connected, and it's just all like a big community.
The campus, it was like a realization that, wow, I'm really at this new chapter of life.
I'm getting all the social life of it, all the sports side of it, and obviously going to classes in person.
That sense of inclusiveness is what I need, and that's what brought me here.
It allows you to communicate with different people from different backgrounds, different cultures, and to me that's very important.
It's like the possibility of making a better world, knowing that we can be better for each other and that there's loads of things to improve in.
My guest with me now is Dr. Chrissy Degula, Assistant Professor in Cultural, Media and Visual Studies, to talk about professional development in media and communications. So welcome to you. There's 3 degrees that focus on professional development aspects in cultural, communication and screen industries, but you're talking about the MA in International Media and Communications today. So can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I'm talking about this one because I'm coordinating this one and I'm teaching in this one, so I'm more suitable to talk about this one. So in our International Media and Communications program, we explore changes in communication practices. We look into processes, practices, affordances, opportunities and challenges. We're not only interested in how journalism changes or what are the challenges that journalism faces, but we're also interested in why all these things happen, why all these developments occur. So we're also interested on the impact that media have on society, on politics and on democracy. And we try to be, and our modules try to be very responsive to the challenges that happen every day. And it's a very dynamic sector anyway.
And in terms of any practical opportunities for students, can you talk me through those?
We do have a broad range of opportunities of placements and internships, which is basically the most popular one that we have. It's very popular among our students, is the Hollywood internship, that students have the opportunity to go to Hollywood and to studios and work there. But our degree, our MA in International Media and Communications, is for those who are interested in the global media landscape. And it's tailored to students that they want to pursue a career in journalism, public relations, media consultancy, and also in academia, because we sort of combine the theoretical understandings with the practical application. So the practical element also comes across quite a lot.
And where have some of your recent graduates ended up working?
Oh, they ended up working in all sorts of industries. Lots of them went to journalism, some of them went to public relations. I think these are the most popular ones. But then the range is quite broad. Also with the new platforms that we have, there are all sorts of new roles, like social media roles and all these kind of things.
And why should someone choose to study this master's course at the University of Nottingham?
So there are a few things that are unique to Nottingham. The first one is that we host the Centre for Media, Politics and Communication Research. And this is basically an intellectual space that brings together colleagues from the Faculty of Arts and the Faculty of Social Sciences to discuss the complex relationship between media and politics. And essentially the centre gives the students the opportunity to engage with experts, with groundbreaking research, to attend seminars and to enrich their academic experience, basically. There are also other things. One of the things that we offer is a language module, so students have the opportunity to choose a language, to learn a language alongside their studies. And this is quite important. I mean, it's a very good skill, it's an asset in a competitive market, so that's also very important. We also offer the opportunity for students to go as exchange students to our Ningbo campus in China. So this also enriches their academic experience quite a lot. It's international exposure and so on.
So is this a course that is suitable for international students, and is there a possibility you can support them whilst on this course?
Yeah, absolutely. It is for international students. We have a very diverse cohort of students, and we offer all sorts of support from personal tutoring, from mentorship and all language support. Yeah.
And who is this course for? What sort of undergraduate background are you looking for?
It is quite open. I mean, we do have like students that they have studied media, they have studied journalism, students that they have done radio producing or television producing, politics, sociology as well. So it's quite diverse.
And as a research-led university, how does what you're finding out about on a daily basis impact the teaching of this course?
It absolutely impacts upon our teaching. I think it's, as I said, this MA has a very strong global focus, and all our modules are taught by staff who are very research active. So, I mean, University of Nottingham has this approach anyway of research-led teaching approach. So we incorporate this approach to our teaching, and we incorporate the world-leading research that we do at the Cultural, Media and Visual Studies in our curriculum quite a lot. So students can benefit really from the research and from the industry insights that we offer. Everything is included in their coursework.
And is there anything else that students need to know about this course?
The main thing is that it's a very diverse course, and they can learn a lot of things, a range of things. There are also lots of opportunities, and they have also the opportunity in their dissertations to explore issues that maybe they are taught exactly in the course, but also beyond the course. Like we look into things that concern changes in journalism, but they can select their own approach to things. And I think this flexibility and this freedom is also something that is really, really important.
Thank you very much for that, Chrissy.
And
we will be right back after this.
not just a squad, it's a group of friends.
Do something good with my disability rather than just neglecting it and not talking about it.
I think talk's still one therapy, and I did that and I thought that helps a lot.
Going to the sessions, having them look up to us and listening to us, it's really wholesome, exactly, yeah.
I haven't fully made it yet. The dream for me has always been to get to Olympics. There's so much more that I still have yet to do.
My guests now are here to talk about following your passions with a postgraduate degree in the arts and humanities. I'm joined by Karina Hurt, Assistant Professor in English, and John Condren, Assistant Professor in History. So welcome to both of you. So if you could get started, and can you talk us through some motivations for studying an arts degree at master's level? And what advantages does that bring to a student in terms of careers?
So we tend to find that our students come to us with some combination of motivations. They always have some kind of passion or interest in what they're studying and in the creative and wide-ranging nature of arts and humanities courses. But they also want to really develop and deepen their technical skills in research methods, in approaches to creative problem solving, in working with different types of information, and of course their skills in formulating an argument and in writing and communicating.
Absolutely, I'd agree with all of that, and many students in history really, as Karina just said, want to take ownership of a project that they might have been interested in at undergraduate level, or might want to test themselves and stretch themselves by investigating something in much more detail. As regards employability, though, I think there are a wide range of careers open to arts graduates, and having a postgraduate degree strengthens that because you've really developed your skills as creative thinking in managing original projects and ensuring that you can manage your time effectively and foster good relations with others and be part of a postgraduate community, which is usually more select than an undergraduate community in the sense that it's smaller, but also that you have a more sophisticated understanding of your place within a department and your own research interests and how you can use that to benefit or push forward your own career.
Perfect. So for all the students who are interested in studying a degree in arts, so is it necessary for their undergraduate degree to be in the same subject of their postgraduate degree?
It's really not exactly in the same subject. I mean, I did law as an undergraduate way back at the University of Limerick, going on 15 years ago. And I'd always loved history, and I developed that love of history during my law degree. And so was able quite easily to make the transition into studying history at postgraduate level and then completing a PhD. We accept applications from students in other arts and humanities subjects, not just history. So we're quite open to, quite flexible when it comes to accepting applications from students who don't follow the traditional route from history undergraduate to history postgraduate. And a lot depends on the application and the motivation that the student shows within that application.
Mm-hmm. It's very much the same for English and across the arts and humanities, that there are so many transferable and wide-ranging skills in the arts and humanities that a degree in that broad field will often be a good way into a different discipline than what you did at undergraduate level.
Mm-hmm.
So you also offer an English degree that is online. So can you comment on how does the student experience differ from a traditional master's?
Yes, so we have our MA English online, and this was a really innovative, it's quite a new course. We invested a lot in it, and we have this wonderful community of students in countries all across the world. We have about 200 students in over 100 countries. Of course, it is a different student experience. There isn't timetable teaching because this is a course for people who are doing other things in their lives. They're working, they have family, they have commitments, they're doing everything else. And the course is designed with flexibility and personalisation in mind. So we have a huge range of smaller modules that people can study in whatever combination they choose to follow their specialism or to pick and choose. And they study in their own time and according to their own schedule. And they get this online experience of video lectures, audio, reading, and access to online materials. And we also have an online community. We have an online cafe, which our students are always in chatting to each other in online events. So it's a different experience, but it's actually just a different form of that postgraduate community that John mentioned, which is a really important part of postgraduate study at Nottingham.
That's great. It's always good to have that flexibility. And for the next question, what do you think about the employability side of things? Like, how employable are postgraduate students when it comes to a degree in arts?
Mm-hmm. This is a question that students or prospective students and parents quite often ask. And actually the answer is very employable. So although our courses might not direct people into one specific career, that's not a bad thing. That means that you are open to all manner of careers, and our students go into a huge range of careers because they have skills in project management, time management, dealing with many different types of information and resource. Our students, our graduates, can take a task or a brief and be relied on to go away and independently work out how they're going to approach it, organise and plan that project, gather all of their materials, assess them critically, and pull it all together into a beautifully written and presented argument that is the result of their own thinking. So having that passion is not something frivolous. It's not easy to have a passion. People with a passion are those who have the drive to go all the way through it, get it done to the highest standard, find original avenues and ideas of doing it. And I think I'd struggle to find an employer who doesn't want that.
Great. I think there's some great points made here. And if I wanted to ask you, like, from both of your experience, like, is there anything else that you would like to add for any students that are looking to study a degree in arts? It could be advice as well for them. Yeah?
I think as to kind of riff off what Karina's just said, it is absolutely vital to have that real love and interest for your subject, because that will keep you going at times when you actually struggle with it. But also, choosing Nottingham it's a great place, a great welcoming university. We have a wide range of staff in history. We can cater for every research interest a student may have. But also at postgraduate level, the expectations are different, but in a good way, because we view you in a sense as junior colleagues. And so actually you get a chance to really participate more in the research life of your department. And even if you go on to a PhD study, you get a chance to actually teach and build your own skills with some of what Karina was saying in management, in organisation, and in communicating your passion for a subject to undergraduate students in next generation. So I think embracing the opportunities and embracing your own passion, embracing your own enjoyment of a particular subject, and remembering that it's a wonderful university to come and work at and to study at, and just enjoying it and remembering that you chose it for a reason, so enjoy it at the end.
Is there anything you would like to add to that, Karina?
I think just carrying on from that really that enjoyment and passion is what opens out so many different paths. Our students and graduates go into more careers than people would perhaps expect, everything from business and starting businesses, because they know how to work independently. They can start a business, they can work freelance, they go into journalism, broadcasting, museum and heritage work, they go into publishing, teaching, civil service, and marketing and advertising and communications. So the very openness and wide-ranging nature of what we do in the arts and humanities is what gives our graduates an absolute multitude of opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, just the employability is not something to be taken lightly, but I think all the skills that you learn, and you don't even realise you're learning them half the time, but they're things that you can turn to your advantage and actually demonstrate so easily by pursuing postgraduate study in the arts. And as Karina said, there's so many career opportunities open to you that don't look obvious, but actually make perfect sense.
That's great. I think we have got some great perspective for students who are looking for their careers in arts. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. I would now like to welcome Dr. Andrew Goffey, Associate Professor of Critical Theory and Cultural Studies, to tell us more about how arts research at the University of Nottingham. Welcome, Andrew. So my first question to you would be, what does it mean to undertake a master's in research degree in the arts, and where does this lead to?
A Master's in Research is a one-year research degree that enables a student to undertake a very substantial piece of independently devised research. The student will come up with a research topic of their own. They will be assigned a couple of supervisors who will help them develop the ideas for their research. They will spend the year planning and developing the research, conducting the research, and then organising the time that they will need to write up that research at the end. So it culminates in a lengthy dissertation. Students undertake MRes projects for a number of reasons. Typically they'll do it because they want to go into academic research, so they may want to do a PhD, and in fact undertaking an MRes takes a year off a PhD because the 1 year of MRes study can count towards a PhD. But they don't only do it because they want to do PhDs, others will do it because they're just really interested in research. They've got an itch that they need to scratch. They've done research as an undergraduate and they've found that it's stimulated their interest and they want to explore further. Others will undertake an MRes because they want to enhance their skills and hone their research abilities, maybe for work in a company afterwards. The scope for what you can do in MRes is very, very broad. It is a research topic that you devise yourself. I've supervised topics in a number of areas. I've recently supervised to completion an MRes which looked at race in the National Basketball Association in the United States. I supervised a project that looked at climate change and mythology. And I'm currently supervising an MRes on artificial intelligence and the history of automation. I mean, it's true that a lot of MRes students do an MRes because they want to go into research, academic research, and an MRes will enable them to do that. In fact, the MRes itself can count towards a PhD, so it effectively takes a year off a PhD study. But not every student does it because they want to become an academic researcher. I've had a student that went into marketing as a result and was interested in developing his project management and research skills. I have another researcher who ended up developing material because he wrote his own comics and wanted to explore ideas for his comics. But more generally, a student would do it because they're interested in maybe going into policy analysis, working in cultural organisations, or developing research for large-scale organisations.
Interesting. And I think you talk some interesting things about independent research. So given that an MRes has a large component of independent research, so what assistance is there for the students? Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so I mean, nobody does research in a bubble, and MRes students are no different to anybody else in that respect. You are an independent researcher when you do an MRes, so you are largely working under your own steam, but every MRes student will be assigned 2 supervisors. They will have regular meetings with those supervisors, and the supervisor will help them develop ideas for their project, to plan it out, to advise them on things that it might be good to do, things that perhaps it's not so good to do. They will also provide advice on kind of research methodologies that they might need to explore, or training that they might need to undertake. And obviously, we allocate supervisors on the basis of their expertise. We have a great deal of research expertise in the Faculty of Arts at Nottingham, and we try to match MRes students with that expertise as best we can. So they benefit from support from supervisors. But they also work in an environment with other researchers, so they'll be encouraged to collaborate with PhD students and other MRes students. We have a number of research centres, so I'm actually the director of a centre for critical theory and cultural studies, and MRes students are invited to join us in our research events in the research centre. There are a number of other centres across the faculty as well. They will work, they can join PhD students for work in progress sessions, so they get the opportunity to present their work and talk about it to others, so they're getting very valuable feedback. And of course there are all the facilities that the university offers, the library facilities. If you were doing an MRes in music, for example, you would benefit from some of the special technology that the Department of Music has, for example. So although you're doing research by yourself for the course of the MRes, you're not doing it alone. You're doing it in conjunction with a couple of experts, but in that context of a great deal more expertise and knowledge.
I think you have given us some great perspective into studying an MRes at the University of Nottingham. Thank you so much, Andrew, and I hope you enjoyed having this conversation today.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this. I am now joined by Dave Feely, Head of Direct Admissions, to talk us through the application process for postgraduate study. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you.
So, as we know, for most people applying to undergraduate courses, they can get advice from their schools or UCAS about the process. But at postgraduate level, there isn't the same structures in place. What advice would you give to someone looking to apply for a postgraduate course?
First of all, I'll try and think about what you're trying to get out of your postgraduate course. Whether you're looking for career progression, in which case, which course is going to provide that for you. Some people are studying postgraduate courses mainly for interest-based, in which case take a look at the modules that you'll be sitting inside the course as well. There's lots of courses that have very similar titles, but the content is very different. So it's worth taking a look at the modules and making sure that course you'll be studying what you want to study. It's worth going onto websites to look at the entry criteria. So many of our courses will have an overall grade as an entry criteria, but there'll also be courses that have module specifics or subject specifics that you need to be studying in your current course. So it's worth going on to make sure that the course you're taking will prepare you correctly for the master's course that you want to study. But it's worth noting that with the entry criteria, you don't need to have met all the criteria before you've applied. The majority of our students will be applying to as well, still studying on their previous course, and we'll be able to make them a decision based on their progress to that point on their undergraduate level course.
So once an application has been submitted, what happens next?
Okay, so our team will pick that up and we'll start processing that based on the information that you've provided on your application form. You will have created a My Nottingham Hub account as part of your application process. And through that, you'll be able to go back there whenever you want to and check the progression of your application. The team themselves are very experienced and they receive applications from qualifications all over the world. So the chances are they will have seen your qualifications before and understand them. But it's worth always checking your inbox and your spam box just in case we do have any questions, because if we do, that's how we'll choose to contact you. If you think that you might have missed a communication from us, if you've not heard from us, then you can go back on to check your My Nottingham accounts. And here we'll have uploaded any communication that we've tried to send you. So you can go on there and just to check. Once we've received all the information that's necessary for us, hopefully we'll be able to supply you with a conditional offer. And if we do that, we'll email that across to you, and that will contain all the information you need to know about what you need to do to meet those conditions. And also, if you're applying for one of our business school courses, it'll give you details about how you pay your deposit and the deadlines for you to do so.
And for students applying from a different country, is there anything else that they also need to think about?
Yeah, so students applying from different countries, you can either choose to apply independently, or many of them choose to apply using an agent. It's completely personal preference, and it's up to your own circumstances. When you're applying from overseas, you might want to look at what funding is available, and you'll be able to look at this by going onto our website, where we'll list all our different scholarships that are available to you. But we won't just list our own as well. You can go on there and check external scholarships that are available, and there'll also be some search tools as well, so you can independently go away and research what might be the best option for you. There's a few other things that you need to consider. Some courses require ATAS for international students. If your course is one of those, once you've accepted our offer, we'll provide you with all the details and all the steps that you need to take to get your ATAS granted. But I would say it's important to start that process as early as possible. Sometimes that can take a while to come through, and we wouldn't be able to issue you with your CAS until you've had your ATAS granted. International students could also receive an English language qualification condition, in which case we'll list on our website all the different qualifications that are available. There's lots of different ones that we accept, and it'll also give you advice on what grade you need to achieve to meet that condition of your offer. Yeah.
Perfect. And if you think about results, so what should applicants do when they have just received their results?
So once you've received your results, it's important to get them to us as early as possible. Even if you haven't met the conditions of your offer, we would ask you to upload them and get them to us. There are circumstances when people who haven't fully met the conditions of their offer can still be accepted. We won't know that's the case unless you provide us with your results. To provide the results, you go to your My Nottingham account and you'll upload them. We'll ask you to provide a good quality scan, or if it's not in its original form, we would ask for a colour certified copy, and that's translated into English if not in its original form. If you have multiple conditions that are outstanding with your account, I'd also recommend not waiting until you have completed them all and uploading them together. Do that as and when you complete them, and that'll just help smooth the process through.
And if I'm correct, like postgraduate research applications can have a few differences. Could you tell us more about those?
Yeah, so for postgraduate talk courses, mostly they'll start in the autumn. With research courses, you'll find that quite a few of them will have start dates throughout the year. If you're in a position where you might want to start earlier or later, then have a look at the course start dates and see what's available for you to apply to. One of the biggest differences with research courses is the research proposal or the research topic, and finding a supervisor that matches that research before you put through an application. If you go on our website, you can find all our different academics, research topics and research areas, and you can find out which one that matches you. And lots of our applicants will choose to contact them or email them in advance to talk through whether they have capacity to take on extra researchers or to talk through their proposal before they submit their application. If you know what funding that you're going to have at that point, it's also a good idea to include that, because researchers do have a small capacity, so any extra information that you can give them is beneficial to that process. You'll also find that some supervisors will advertise studentships on our website. If you're applying for these, they have different application processes to a normal postgraduate research application. So it's worth just taking time to go through that process and make sure you understand it and do everything that you need to do. And other research opportunities or other funding opportunities, you might want to look at different research councils, and again they'll have their own application processes. This will all be detailed on their websites and it will be quite complex, but it's just worth taking the time out to make sure you understood everything before submitting those applications.
And if you had one piece of advice for anyone considering an application, making an application, what would that be?
So there'll be deadlines on our website for pretty much every part of the application process. We'll open for new applications the 1st of June, so that's about 15-16 months before the start date of the course. But my biggest piece of advice was to do everything as early as you possibly can. So although there will be deadlines, things like courses will close before the deadlines if they become full, Some processes like ATAS or applying for visas can take longer than you expect. So if you're in a position to start part of the process, don't delay. Try and avoid any disappointment that you might have by something closing or by something not coming through in time.
Thank you so much for this informative session, Dave. And we'll be right back after this.
We now welcome Teresa Cochrane from the Careers and Employability Service, who'll be talking us through the support available to postgraduate students to help them with the next step in their careers. Welcome to you, Teresa. So first of all, what's some of the support that you offer to both students and graduates?
So we are a really well-resourced team overall, the Careers and Employability Service. We have about 80 staff members supporting our students. So within that, we can offer a range of support. If students don't know what they want to do, they can come and see us. We can help them with diagnostic tools to help them to figure out their personality styles, their preferences, their interest areas. And from that, we can help them to direct them into the careers that might suit them. We also offer a range of appointments that students can book into, whether that's online or in person. And that will help us to kind of talk to students about the things that might support them in their chosen career. So if they don't know what they want to do, we can help them work that out. If they really have a clear idea, we can help to point them to some of the resources, events, and extracurricular activities that might help them. In addition to that, we have lots of support in terms of our events. So our students can book onto employer events where they can meet employers, network with them, find out about the industries that they're interested in. We also offer support in terms of workshops from our career development staff. So if you are struggling perhaps in interview skills or with making applications, we can talk you through how to do that in the most effective way. And in addition to that, we have support resources that can help with all aspects of the recruitment process. So from interview skills, CVs, employer testing, we even have AI-driven CV review software that our students can use.
And does the university help students connect with potential employers?
Yes. So if you are a postgraduate student or maybe an international student, you might have been to careers fairs in overseas universities. It works slightly differently in the UK. We have a range of careers fairs that our students can attend. It won't be a process of offering our students jobs on the spot like it might be in campus recruitment overseas. I know that takes place in China and India. In the UK, it's more about understanding the roles, thinking about how that recruitment process will take place, all the different aspects within that, and maybe how our students can prepare for that. So for example, some of our employers will come on campus with recent graduates, talk them through what it's like to work in that organisation, the culture, the expectations. They might even bring in something like gamification assessments so that our students can practice those at our careers fairs, and really just to understand what it might be like to work with that organisation. We are actually the third most targeted university in the UK by some of the top employers in the UK. That was from some research last year that came out. So that means that lots of the top employers are actually on campus in our fairs. Those can range from our finance management fairs to veterinary schools to science, technology and engineering. So there's a whole host of different fairs that are available for all of our students. In addition to that, employers often come on campus and offer events to help our students with skill development. Students can book onto that through our online portal. And we also have lots of ways that our students can engage with employers. So we offer micro internships, which are 2-week placement opportunities where students can undertake a project just for 2 weeks with an employer, gaining skills in research, analytical skills, communication skills, team working, and maybe just meeting a deadline on time as well. Postgraduate Placements Nottingham is a scheme that we're running in the university specifically for postgraduates. That would offer our students about 100 to 200 hours of work with an employer, and we're really aiming for those higher level skills, so analytical skills, research, being able to independently work on a project for an organisation. So they're great ways, they're paid opportunities and great ways for our students to engage with employers. In addition to that, we also have other in-curricular and outside of curricular activities. So some of our students will choose to do their dissertation as a project for an employer. So they will undertake research for an employer, solve a problem that they might have, but also gain credit in their course for that kind of activity. And we also offer activities outside of the course. So we have a programme called our Digital Marketing Academy. So that is a programme where students work for about 3 months. They'll gain qualifications in things like digital skills, search engine optimization, maybe Google Analytics qualifications. They'll also work with employers who are working in the digital marketing space to gain insights and experience, and then they'll at the final stage of that project they'll work with that employer to solve a problem for them. There's another programme we have called the Nottingham Consulting Challenge, and within that's a 6-week programme, a chance for our students to work in a group project with employers to solve a problem for them. So that would be getting a chance to work with lots of other students from across the university, developing communication skills, team working, analytical skills, producing a presentation right at the end of that and alongside a report. So there are so many opportunities. Our students won't be able to do all of them, but they will hopefully be able to fit something in around their studies.
And what are some of the resources that they can access from the Careers Service whilst they're studying?
Yeah, we've got a really good wealth of resources for our students. So these can range from anything like the diagnostic tools I talked about earlier. So that might be the Myers-Briggs type indicator, personality profiling. A lot of our careers consultants are trained in strengths profiling as well, so that's a way that we can help students to understand themselves better. We also have some more practical resources to help with things like recruitment and selection processes. So we've invested in AI CV reading software. That's really helped our students to understand how their CV might be read by an employer, and to hopefully help them to pass through that process more easily. It's also helped the careers team to understand what employers are doing in terms of screening those CVs and applications. So that's one aspect. We also then have employer testing software. So our students can get experience of doing situational judgment tests, which are very common with employers, numerical tests, logical reasoning, a whole host of different assessments that might be presented to them in a recruitment exercise. They'll do the assessment, find out whether they are going too quickly and not very accurately, or vice versa. They'll also get feedback on their answers, and that will allow them to hopefully get the right answer next time. There's lots of feedback on what the correct answer might be. So hopefully that will allow our students to increase their performance in employer tests. We have video interview resources, which again give AI feedback, but also feedback from one of our careers consultants. And those video interviews can be tailored around specific job roles. So if a student's going for a specific job, it's actually going to be a video interview. We can tailor that interview to be a realistic kind of simulation of what might happen. That will always be subsidised with feedback from our careers consultants to make sure that students can really improve their performance in things like interviews.
And do you offer any support for international students or students that don't want to work in the UK when they graduate?
Yes, we have some specific support packages that will help our students if they are looking for work in the UK but don't have the permanent right to work in the UK. It will help them to identify at least 300 employers who have been hiring consistently international graduates over the last 3 to 4 years. That will cover a range of different sectors. We are also well versed in visa and immigration rules, so we work closely with immigration advisors, solicitors, and also with the visa and immigration team within the university. So we make sure that all of our staff are really well trained in that area of work, so we can provide information to our students to really help them to maximise their chances of being employed within the UK under the rules and regulations that are in place. If you're wanting to work outside the UK, we also host a range of events, information and resources support. So we have a package of support which will allow our students to see things like CV conventions, labour market information for lots of different countries and cities overseas. That will help them to then make their applications more effective. And we build relationships with lots of overseas employers. So, for example, next month we're hosting the Asia Career Insights programme for our students. That's 4 days of employer talks from Chinese employers, those from Southeast Asia, Hong Kong and Singapore. So lots of opportunities for our students, even if they want to work overseas. We regularly also host information sessions to our students about working overseas. So we have a China Connect, India Connect and Africa Connect programme that I've been involved in, and that has involved employers and people with labour market insights for overseas countries to come back and provide advice to our students and to our graduates as well.
Teresa, thank you so much for joining me today, and we will be right back after this. I'm now joined by Liz Havel, Business Support Manager, to tell us more about accommodation options for postgraduate students. Hi, Liz.
Hi.
So, my first question, how do I book my postgraduate accommodation through the accommodation services if I'm coming to the University of Nottingham?
So the best thing to do would be to visit our accommodation website. So it's nottingham.ac.uk/accommodation. And there's lots of helpful information on there about how postgraduates can apply for their accommodation. Also, we've got some advisors that can support. So if they want to get in touch, we've got a contact us section. Any questions about the process, about applying, or any other information that they want to ask or consider, then they can get in touch either using an online form on our website. They can have a one-to-one Teams chat and send us an email, or we've got a live chat function on our website as well. Applications open in mid-April, so postgraduate students can apply anytime from mid-April.
And what are the benefits of booking your postgraduate accommodation through the accommodation services itself?
We would always recommend postgraduates book through the University of Nottingham accommodation services for the simple reason that we've got such a big portfolio of accommodation. That's both accommodation that's owned and managed by the University of Nottingham and carefully selected accredited partners that we work with. We've got a real good mixture of on-campus and off-campus accommodation, and booking through us means that students, postgraduate students, will secure the best prices available and live pricing at that time for our accommodation.
And in terms of, where postgrads are going to live, are they together with undergraduates, or is there any sort of separation?
So we have a mixture. We have postgraduate accommodation specifically, and then we have accommodation where it is mixed with postgraduate students and undergraduate students. But what I would say is where that accommodation is mixed, we try to keep those students in clusters, so all postgraduate students would be put together in that accommodation. So although it would be a mixed site, it would be specifically postgraduate students that would be placed together.
And in terms of what facilities are available, is there catering or self-catering options, and how does it work in terms of like kitchens shared or to the students themselves? Okay, so with our postgraduate students, it's self-catered accommodation that we offer. I would always say check our website for specific facilities that are available in that accommodation. They can also have a virtual tour of all accommodation types, so it's always well worth just having a check. There is shared kitchens, there could be private kitchens, again depending on the accommodation, so it's always worth checking. Also, we have a meal pass app, so postgraduate students, even though they're self-catered, they can download the Meal Pass app, and it's a cashless system where they can purchase food and drink on campus outlets, and they get offers and discounts that are on that app as well. So if they did want to have some form of catering that's on campus, then they could have a look at the Meal Pass app, but otherwise it tends to be self-catered. And in terms of where students will be living, how far are the accommodation options from the teaching and departmental buildings?
What I'll say is that we're an on-campus university, and we've got that on-campus accommodation. So we've got accommodation that can be selected that's very close to academic buildings. We've got off-campus accommodation. You could stay on one campus but study on another campus. So it really is choice. So I would always say check where the academic building is, check where the accommodation is, and you'll be able to do a check on the internet just to find out what the exact distance is for that property. But everything is accessible within reason. So we run if you are further out and you're off campus, we've got the hopper buses that run between all of the university campuses, so Sutton Bonington, Kings Meadow campus, University Park, Jubilee, the Royal Derby Hospital. So students have got access to those buses, and we've got great public transport in Nottingham as well. But I would say that most things are fairly close to academic buildings, but it just depends on the specifics of which accommodation and which academic building.
And how can students find out how much each different type of accommodation will cost them?
So again, I would say visit our website, so nottingham.ac.uk/accommodation. We've got all of our pricing on there. You can filter through accommodation, so you can filter specific postgraduate accommodation, and you will get all of the licence terms. You'll get the virtual tours and the pricing that's on the website. Postgraduate licences tend to be based on 51 weeks. So it's always worth having a look at the licence term, and depending on what you want from your accommodation would depend on the cost of the accommodation. But we try to offer reasonable accommodation for most budgets. And once again, if students, postgraduate students, are booking through the university website, then they've got access to the best prices at that time.
And what's in place to help students settle in to postgrad life once they're settled in their accommodation?
So once they're settled in accommodation, we've got our residential experience team that are ready to support them. So our residential experience team, they can run activities, social activities. They can get postgraduate students involved in networking with other students and making friends. And then also we've got a dedicated wellbeing team. So there's lots of support once settled into our accommodation. We've got our welcome points for our halls teams. So if postgraduate students are staying on campus, they're able to access support through our welcome points. Our third parties have dedicated teams of staff that are available to support security and residential support staff.
Liz, thank you very much for that. And we will be right back after this. It's now time for us to wrap up the event. We hope that you've enjoyed it as much as we have and that you've now got a greater feel for what studying at the University of Nottingham is like.
There was a lot of information in the event today, but don't worry. You'll be able to watch this video back on the same link you used to access today's event shortly after it finishes.
If you've asked any questions, you'll get a direct reply from our team. So keep an eye on Slido for a response if you haven't had one already. And remember, you can find out more about anything we've covered today by visiting the website.
Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you at the University of Nottingham very soon.